Hey guys, how you going? Paul here. Welcome back to Smoke and Pellets. Now today we are looking at beef short ribs. I was going to do normal beef ribs. To be honest, I'm not that entirely sure what the difference is between the two. Probably should look at that. But these are beef short ribs because the butcher didn't have any normal beef ribs. So that's what we're doing today. What I've done with these beef ribs so far is I have, like a pork rib, you do need to remove the membrane. I have spent a little while doing that, even had a little war injury from it. But like pork ribs, some of them just peel off quite easily, so that you can see that membrane's come off. There's a little bit more to pull off there that is not coming off as easily, so I'll probably just trim that down the side and let that go for the purpose of this video. But you know, you can spend hours and hours trimming all that. I trimmed off quite a bit of fat cap off this one and remove the membrane there, remove the membrane off the back here. This one I've actually left a little bit of fat on because me being me, I like to experiment when I'm cooking, and I haven't done beef short ribs in a really long time. I did them on my charcoal smoker quite a few years ago. They turned out all right from memory, so I'm excited to get these into the smoker and see how we go. So to prepare this, I'm just going to use a little bit of olive oil to bind. I actually like olive oil on beef type products. You can use pretty much anything you like there. You can use some, I've seen everything in videos from mustard. Worcestershire sauce is common for that as well. I didn't have any Worcestershire sauce, really unprepared today. So I'm going to, I've used olive oil. Then I've got some, I picked this up the other day, some meat stock. Meat stock is I don't know whether they're a company. Apologies to Meat Stock if you ever watch this. But they do big barbecue and music festivals in a couple of places around the country. There's actually one running in Toowoomba as we speak, which I couldn't get to, but they've released some rubs. This is called Texas Tommy Gun, so I'll throw that on and see how we go. So as always, give it a good dust of rub all over. This one here is salt, pepper and garlic powder from basically, so a nice straightforward barbecue type rub. I don't know if that's enough, but we've got plenty on there. I like to put a little bit of smoked paprika on mine as well, just to give it a little bit more of a different flavour apart. There you go, that's all coming out well now, so there's plenty of that on there. Plenty of smoked paprika, plenty of salt and pepper rub, all held down with a nice bit of olive oil, throwing stuff everywhere. So we are good to go. So what I'm going to do, oh, there's 2 bits there. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put them into the smoker for 3 hours to let them cook down. Once I've done that, I'll pull them out and wrap them in butcher paper and put them in for about another 2 hours. I'm looking for an internal temperature around 95 degrees Celsius here, which will be around 200 Fahrenheit if I've got my figures right, because I know I've set the smoke at 107 degrees Celsius, which is about 225 Fahrenheit. So that's what I'm looking for. And from memory and cooking other beef ribs in my time, I want this to probe the same as a brisket does, so just slide straight in, slide out. I will test the temperature. I'm not sure how much outside camera work will get done today because it is pouring outside at the moment. So if not, I might bring it back in here and wrap it and then do all that. But we'll get to that point when we get there. So I'm off to smoke this for 3 hours. After that, we will pull it out. I'll wrap it and then we'll do another 2 hours and we'll see how we go. These are quite big bits. I've got a couple of smaller bits there which I'll have a play with as well. That way we can look at our timings. I'm using the Traeger Pro Series 22 pellet smoker, which is a base model pellet smoker. I've had it for about a month now and I've been smoking the jointers out of it. I really like it. It's really easy to use, so we'll see how these go. Talk to you then. Okay, welcome back. Now I'm back inside because it is still raining out there, so rather than try and get the camera and everything under the gazebo that I work under, I have brought this back inside, which probably isn't great for, you know, maintaining the temperature and everything we talk about, but it will give me an opportunity to show you what I'm going to do next. So my beef rib, the short ribs have been on for about 3 hours. You can see they are starting to pull away from the bone there, which is exactly what we're after. I stuck a little probe into one of the bigger pieces and it's 71 degrees. So that means it's not ready, but it's coming along very nicely. I want to get this to about 95 degrees. So rather than leave it in there, and you know, most meat only takes smoke for a first couple of hours anyway. So what I'm going to do now with my ribs is I am going to wrap them in some butcher's paper, which I didn't pre-cut. So that's going to be very loud on camera and very awkward here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap, well that one, there's actually two there, but I've left them together so that I can get a bit more of a cook in them. And I'm going to put the three of them together and I'm going to wrap that fairly tightly. So as with brisket, you want to wrap your butcher's paper quite tightly. Probably should have done one of them, one in each. So they're the three bigger pieces. I'm going to put that in the hotter part of the smoker. And for the last two smaller pieces, I'll put them in the cooler part at the front. If you're interested in knowing about how to check this, the hot spots on your smoker, have a look at a video on my YouTube channel or in my website, because I did a post on that the other day. So these now well and truly wrapped. You can wrap them in alfoil if you like. You can put them in a tray and wrap them in alfoil. What I was looking for, as I said, is a good colour on it and that the temperature's starting to pick up there quite nicely. So I'm now going to put these back in for, they'll probably need another 2 hours, I would say, based on the temperature now. They're still 20 degrees off being ready. So I would say that's a good 2 hours. So I'm going to leave them for 2 hours. And then I'll take my little probe out and I'll do two tests at once. I'll see if it probes nice and easily, and because that had a little bit of resistance when I put it in. So I'll check if it probes nice and easily, and I'll also check the temperature as well. So I will see you in a couple of hours and we will pull them in. I will rest them and take them off and we'll see how they go. Speak to you then. Okay, I have my beef ribs off the smoker. It got to about, there was probing very well and it got to about 92 degrees. So I had to take them off because I'm running out of time, so we're about to go out. So let's have a look and see. And the reason I say that is it actually took a lot longer than what I was expecting. I said earlier that first cooked for 3 minutes, it started to pull away, it all looked really good. I was into 3 and a bit hours and it wasn't quite at the temperature that I would have liked. So I've taken it off and I'm opening up. And yes, it looks good. So you can see that's pulled right away from the bone. So that pulls straight off the bone, which means it's all cooked. Probably at first glance, well, that one's fallen straight off the bone as well. So you see it's come clearly off that. Probably at first glance, to be brutally honest with you, it's probably a little bit undercooked. I probably could have left them on for probably the extra temperature that I was talking about, but you know, they have come off quite well. If I cut into that, I can see a great smoke ring there. Still a little bit of fat there, which is probably why it's not falling apart as much as I would like. Should probably bring my chief taster in at this point. That's pulling apart pretty well in my hands though. So I find a good meaty bit for you. Want to taste that?
Thank you.
Really good flavour. Really good flavour, really tender to taste. That's pulling apart very well there. So, as I say, I had to take it off a little bit early, so my recommendation here would definitely be to keep it for that full, up to that 95, 96 degrees. As I said, I put it off about 92. I have let it rest for quite a while, but if I cut that open, not as quite juicy there, some good juice coming out of there, a good smoke ring in there as well. So as I mentioned, yep, some juice coming out of there. As I mentioned, yep, that's really good, really, really good actually. Nice and moist in there, you can see the moisture coming out of that rib there. So all in all, moisture coming out of there now. I'm squeezing it just to waste time. I like to have my mouthful. Look, Very happy with the flavour, very happy with the cook on the Traeger. It's the first time I've done beef short ribs on a pellet smoker. Very happy with that. Probably my advice would be to be prepared that the second cook's going to take a little bit longer, because this is probably, as I mentioned, probably about half an hour of being totally ready. If you like your beef ribs a bit firmer, then this is definitely the case. As you can see that it's falling off the bone, but the meat itself is probably still a little bit cutting through perfectly. It probed really well, and you can see there's some moisture coming out there, so it's nice and moist. It rested for about half an hour. So again, if I had my time over and I had to pull it off a little bit earlier than what I wanted, I probably would have let it rest for a little while as well. But apart from that, good smoke ring, good moisture, falling off the bone, little bit undercooked. But as I mentioned, if you like your meat a little bit firmer, then pull it off right now and it's all good to go. So that is my Traeger Beef Short Ribs. At the beginning, I did some salt and pepper rub. I put a little bit of paprika on there because I like paprika on my smoked meats. 3 hours in the cook. It was starting to pull away from the bone quite well. Then I wrapped in the butcher's paper, left it for it went nearly 3.5 hours and it wasn't quite ready. And that was at 107 degrees or 225 Fahrenheit. So I've now learned with that smoker, so as I say, it's the first one, that it's actually a pattern that I'm starting to see with this pellet smoker, that things are taking a little bit longer than what I would expect with the temperatures that it's saying. The temperatures are accurate. I've tested them. I'm happy with that. I think I just need to maybe play around with the hot spots and that a little bit more. But apart from that, that was cooked on mesquite pellets. I'm not sure if I said that earlier or not, but yep, nice smoke ring, nice and moist, tastes delicious, and all good. So that is my Traeger beef spare ribs. I'll be cooking them a lot more. And yeah, comment below if you cooked these and found, should I cook them longer? Should I rest it longer? High temperature, low temperature, whatever you feel. But that is that. I'm very happy with that. I'm off to eat that now. So I will talk to you soon. Have fun. See ya. That's really good flavour.